Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. I'm very excited about doing an episode. This is a pop up episode for everyone. Uh, Wild time in the world, but still just want to still do an episode. So, episode 167 Four Things You Should Know About Money. I really just wanted to do this episode for you all. A lot of people in the vault ask about money and things of that nature, and just wanted to kind of allude to some things that really are very important for the next generation, successor trustees, being very aware of the term money and what that really is in terms of operating. So let's just go straight into it. Um, One of the first things that you should know about money is that it's actually depreciating. And when we went through trustee training with the mentors, peace Kenneth for tuning in live. Uh, when we first went through our training with our mentors, first thing we learned, and same first thing we go over with trustees as well, is how can you save a depreciating asset? Money a lot of times is looked at as just a pure asset, but it's actually depreciating via inflation. One of the things you think about when you think about money, you should always think about that term inflation. What is the value of this and how is it losing value? So when you look at money, money to a degree, the paper is actually losing its value every single day. Depreciation. These are terms that you want to go look up, become very familiar with inflation, depreciation, things of that nature. Uh, this is another critical one. A lot of times people don't even look at it. Uh, well, we'll even finish up with inflation, which is called phantom income, opportunity cost loss. But the next one is called hypothecation. After inflation comes hypothecation. What's hypothecation? Hypothecation is an opportunity for someone to create imaginary money supply just by adding zeros on the paper because they already have zeros on the paper. It's an expansion. It's an exponential expansion. This is where trustees and the like learn how to deal with other people's money because they understand that the money that they're holding is depreciating. So then they move into a position of learning expansionary tactics. Expansion tactics are dealing with banks and OPM, other people's money, venture capitalists, friends, family, other people's money. Hypothecation is very important. And we have credit. Credit deals with limited liability, the opportunity for business to do business, not personal. There's a difference between income and assets. We talk about that with trustees all the time. But when it comes to credit, you're still limiting your liability. Hypothecation is what the bank practices. Most people in their common practice can't practice hypothecation because they're not licensed to do that. It's literally a license. And one of the last ones, the first lesson you're taught as a trustee through private trusteeship, is learning what money really is. One of them, at least, money is a store of value. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't know why money was created. Money sucks." All these different type of terms, but particularly in general, the four things you should know about money. One of them is money is a store of value. A lot of people are disappointed in the paper how doesn't hold its value. So people have gone into other what are called stores of value, or considered to be assets, or considered to be forms of money, which have always been around, which are considered to be collectible art, cars, jewelry, real estate, paper assets, securities. They have these insurance policies on each other. But then we get into the gold, we get into the silver, we get to platinum, palladium, rhodium. We get into those things. Those are stores of value. Copper has a store of value. How is it that a piece of copper costs more than a dollar? That means that the copper is more valuable than a dollar. There's a lot of things that cost more than a dollar. So we must understand and always be aware of these type of environments where we understand these terms. And when I will go over them again, inflation. That's a depreciating currency. The currency is depreciating in value. Hypothecation. This is where you get into expansion. Expansion is traditionally done on the banking side, but people know how to create spreads on the public side. Credit. Credit is something you can go get on your own, something that a business can get, and it's dealing with other people's money. Commercial debt, not your money. So when people say, oh, it takes money to make money, it does. But it doesn't mean that it takes yours. It might take yours to get you clean, to go in the doors, to get the money. That's the money that it takes to make the money. And as well, a store of value, something that people just, they always want to gripe about. Well, how does gold and silver have any value? It's only based off of what someone says it's worth. But from the way it looks, silver, gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium, any type of, natural products, commodities, these things are being sold at fractions. Then you get into these other instruments called futures contracts. You have these contracts now that these contracts have value and they don't actually have anything. And these are things that you can go look at and talk to about with a financial advisor. But a store of value is something that you hold on to privately. Credit, possibly. Hypothecation, maybe not. And inflation, you're dealing with it as long as you're dealing with a currency. And unless you have some type of business that's having a passive residual income source coming in, inflation is traditionally eating away at the business because the currency is depreciating every single day. We did this episode because there was a survey that was done by the National Financial Endowment Institute, and they're literally saying that people under 40 years old feel like they're lacking in their financial education. They feel like they could do more. And so we just wanted to talk about four things that people can know about money when it comes to their financial education because those things are very, very important. We've talked to quite a few people over the years, and hypothecation is not something they're very familiar with. A lot of people are not familiar with what's considered to be inflation. A lot of people are not familiar with credit. We always share with people that come through the vault and ask about credit. We say, hey, how come you weren't taught credit in college? How come you weren't taught how to build credit in high school and in public school? It's because of the environment and the platform. It's not made to set up for people to be independent and learn how to use on commercial debt or other people's money. It doesn't teach that. And even the store value, the store value. You hear about these wars when you're in public school about people fighting over natural resources and things of that nature. But now you see natural resources are considered to be the actual value itself, not the actual money itself. That the currency is being denominated or paid for in. It's more deeper than that. And so you can see that there's value being passed along in assets as opposed to just having income from one generation to the next. When they say they're passing along money from one generation to the next, they're passing along assets from one generation to the next. That's what's being passed along. So appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Thank you all. Peace and blessings. Christian at trustchristian.com.